All right, so today's question of the day comes from Abby M, and Abby asks, can you choose where to be stationed? So I'm just kind of going to jump into it. It really depends. Okay, I'm going to give you an example for me, right? When I was in A school, I think this was like the first week of class, I went in and they gave us a piece of paper and they said, hey, where would you like to be stationed? East Coast, West Coast, or overseas? Rated 1 to 3. 1 being what you want the most and 3 being what you want the least. So I put overseas number 1, West Coast number 2, and East Coast number 3, right? What I don't want to be, because I'm from Pennsylvania, I'm from the East Coast, I didn't want to go back to it, so I just wanted to experience new things. But I ended up back in Virginia, which is East Coast, right? And later on, I talked to the detailer. Detailer is the person who is kind of in charge of where they put you. When I talked to them, he said, hey, we don't have availability for overseas or for West Coast, right? Because, for example, when you are E1 to E3, let's say for logistics specialists, they need 100 logistics specialists for a certain area in, for example, let's say Japan. Right? They have enough of E1s and E3s, but they don't have enough of E5, right? So they're not going to send E1 to E3 straight out of A school. They're just going to send somebody who's E5, from any part of the Navy, and then send them to Japan, right? So it really boils down to the availability, right? They work based on the availability of what's needed and what's open. So in the flip side, so I didn't really get a choice, right? I didn't really get a choice. On the flip side, I talked to my friends who are also logistics specialists that went to A school a year before me, and they said, yeah, I did have a choice. I was given a choice of 5 commands, East Coast specifically, like this ship, this ship, this ship, this location, right? So they had a choice because at that time there was the availability open. So I am not, I don't really know the whole system, but what I can kind of conclude is it really comes down to availability, okay? Now, I have some friends who have been in A school for 9 months for different rates, and they were all given choices. So I don't know exactly if the duration of A school factors into this whole thing or if it doesn't, but at the end of the day, it really boils down to the availability of what's open and what's not, how many people they need here and how many people they need there, right? So even though you want a specific location, there is no guarantee that you are going to get that specific location. The best thing that you can do is just talk to your chain of command when you are in A school. So when I was in A school, I kind of juggled with the idea of working at the Pentagon, right? Because I thought it was a pretty cool thing to do, working at a Pentagon. So, I asked my chain of command and I said, hey, can I work there? I'm going to be in the East Coast anyway. Can I just work at a DC as a logistics specialist? And they said, yeah, we'll see what we can do. But the availability wasn't there. So I just kind of wonder what it could have been if the availability was there, which I think would have been pretty cool. But yeah, if you don't get what you want, just kind of talk to, even before that, right? Even way before you get your orders. Right? Orders is a term that we use for, where you go, your command. Even before you get your orders, kind of talk to your chain of command and say, hey, I would really like to go here. Can you help me? Can you, give me some information? What can I do? There's no guarantee that you'll get it, but you can always try, you can always ask, right? There are some people that had the orders to go to Japan, but they say, hey, I would like to stay home. Can I have orders to Virginia? And then they worked it out with the detailer and they got the orders to Virginia. So it can work, right? It can work. So that is just kind of what I know. I'm just sharing that, passing that on with you. Hope that information helped. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great Navy day.